everyone, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Amy and I'm currently on a journey to repay 6 figures worth of student loan debt. This is not the video that I had planned for today, but after filming my Debt-Free Friday on Friday, I said that I was going to be filming a different kind of video on my Monday video. So I just kind of wanted to talk through what's going on with our debt right now and honestly just have like an open conversation with you guys, because I feel like I've involved so many of you on my journey and I truly value your opinions, and I want to hear what you guys think about using my savings to pay off debt. I figured we would just talk through it. I kind of made some notes, but nothing like super substantial. I'm probably just going to be talking off the top of my head. So after I filmed my Debt-Free Friday video, I kind of talked to my husband a little bit about it and where we're at with our savings right now. And so I figured first I would just explain where our savings is at so you guys have like a baseline. So our emergency fund is currently at just over $6,300. That is on the lower side that we've had it this journey. So I feel like that's part of the reason why I'm a little bit hesitant to use it, even though I really want to have my debt paid off. So our emergency fund is at $6,300. If you watched my Debt-Free Friday, again, I will link it in the cards if you have not watched it yet, but if you watched my Debt-Free Friday video from Friday, we have about $1,200 left of debt, so about $1,000. So we would have to drain our emergency fund to like around $5,100, which is, I feel like, a good amount. It's probably like the least amount that I'm comfortable with. I don't think we've let our emergency fund get below $5,000 since we started our journey. So it's like dangerously close to that. So let's just talk through some pros and cons, and I want you guys to talk to me in the comments too. I am posting this on Monday and I will be filming an update on Friday. So I will have plenty of time to talk to you guys in the comments. So I want you guys to let me know your opinions down below and what you would do in my situation. So if you're new here, we have paid off over $60,000 of debt this year. We restarted our debt-free journey in January of 2020 with a balance of just over $120,000. So we have in the last 2 years paid off almost $120,000 of debt. I was very fortunate to receive an annual bonus last Friday, so the Friday that I just filmed the Debt-Free Friday. So that did take out a chunk of what we had left, but it also put us in kind of a weird situation where we literally have no more money left in the month of December to put towards debt, and we have a $1,200 balance. I'm just gonna run through some pros and cons with you guys, and hopefully that will make me feel better one way or the other about doing this. So pros of paying off the debt with our savings would be a huge emotional relief for myself specifically. My husband, I feel like, doesn't really care. He's more so like, do what you want to do. Like it's not his debt necessarily, even though he views it as his as well, but like it's my burden in my own opinion. So I feel like I have a lot more emotional attachment to it. And so I feel like it would be very freeing for me to pay it off, especially paying it off like December 31st. It would be like starting the new year fresh and all that. So number one pro would be like the emotional weight of it being lifted off. Number two pro would be like starting fresh in 2022. I just feel like that would be, it's kind of related to like the emotional weight, but like also just like being able to start over in 2022 with our new goals and not having debt be a part of that. I feel like that would be really good because we have had debt for so many years, and that has always been a part of our annual goals or like New Year's resolutions before I started doing goals back in like 2019. So yes, starting fresh, like a new year, I feel like would be really powerful for me as well. And then another pro, which isn't really necessarily a pro, but it's just another consideration that I have, is that we will be able to replenish our emergency fund fairly quickly. If you watched my January budget with me video, we are allocating about $2,600 in the month of January for financial goals. When I filmed that video, I wasn't sure where we were going to be at with our debt. I mean, I'm still not really sure at this point either, hence the video. But filmed that video not knowing where we would be, and so we just set aside the $2,600 for like financial goals. So I basically said, like, if we weren't debt free, we would use part of that. So we could either use part of that money for becoming debt free in January, or we could use part of that money to just replenish what we're pulling. So it's one of those things where it's kind of, I know that it's probably better to wait. So let's just move into the cons then, because yeah. So cons for using the savings to pay off debt. I am having a baby in a couple weeks. So I am currently 8 months pregnant, almost 9 months pregnant. So obviously there's a lot of things that financially come with having a baby. And yeah, so taking money from our emergency fund, like, timing's not super great on that probably. Obviously, like I said, we would still have $5,000 in savings, so it's not like we would be completely depleting it. We also do have a health savings account that has about $7,000 in it as well. So that is another cushion. So like medical stuff, I'm not concerned about because we have that medical savings specifically. So that takes out some of the risk, I feel like, is we have that health savings account that we could pull from as well. So yes, we're having a baby in a couple weeks. So another con or consideration that we need to take into account for pulling this money. Another con or reason why we probably shouldn't pull money from savings is that my student loans are currently 0% interest. So there is really no quote unquote benefit to me paying this off right now, other than impatience, basically. So yeah, it's not accruing any interest right now, and it won't be. We will definitely be debt free by the time it does start accruing interest. Even if we aren't debt free in 2021, we will be debt free in like the first week or two of 2022. So there's no interest accruing on it. It's just kind of sitting there and mocking me with just being there. But it's not like a detriment to us at all, really. Another consideration is that we are still in a pandemic. So obviously, like, the world is still very crazy right now. I do feel like since we're, on year 2, almost 3 of this pandemic, that things have kind of stabilized in the fact that we know kind of the situation. My husband and I feel like have pretty good job security, so I'm not super concerned about like a job loss situation anymore like we were in like the beginning of COVID. Obviously, I feel like everybody was concerned more in the beginning of COVID with like job loss or like emergency things like that. I do feel like we have a little bit more of a handle on that now, so that's not as much of a consideration, but obviously we are still in a pandemic environment. Things could happen. My husband or I could get sick and things like that. So that's just another consideration. Obviously, like, anything could happen at any time. That's why people have emergency funds, right? Like, you just don't want to be put in a situation where you don't have enough money for something, to pay for something. So those are my considerations. I hope that was helpful. And I thought, honestly, I thought that this would be a lot more helpful for me. And I still feel like I am torn in half, honestly. So that's why I'm filming this, because I just want to see what you guys think. I want to see what you would do personally. Obviously, the decision is ultimately mine and my husband's, what we end up doing. But I do value you guys, like I said in the beginning of the video. And so I want to get your opinions on it. Or if there's anything that I'm not considering that you think that I should be considering. Obviously, I am just kind of at a loss right now. I don't know what to do. Tell me what to do, you guys. Like I said, I will be talking to my husband more about this over this week and just trying to figure out what we're going to do. I feel like we're kind of leaning towards just paying it off in 2021, to be honest. I feel like we have enough money elsewhere. So I know I mentioned it already. So we would be dipping our emergency fund down to about $5,000. We have about $7,000 in our HSA account as well for like medical stuff or anything that would happen with like the baby or medically for us. And then we also do have a brokerage account that has about $900 in it. We have some sinking funds as well. So our sinking funds are about $2,000. So that's like an additional amount of money that we could pull from as well. We also have a little bit of a checking account buffer, which I think is sitting at like $300. So, there's like a lot of different places that we could in an emergency pull money from. We also have credit cards. Obviously, that's not a good plan to use credit cards in an emergency. However, if it was like a true crazy emergency that like was more than $5,000 that we had to pay for immediately, we have I think probably about $90,000 of available credit on credit cards that we could tap into if we absolutely had to. So I think we're kind of like low risk, in my opinion, as far as the emergency fund goes. And, I also just kind of reverted back to like the Dave Ramsey way of thinking as well, because we have our entire journey had more than $1,000 in savings. And so in my mind, I'm kind of like, okay, maybe we revert back to the original plan and like allow ourselves to dip our emergency fund a little bit lower, because I don't know, people do it, right? So that is all I have for this video. You guys, again, leave me your comments down below. I am hoping to have an answer by Friday, so you guys will know what's going on Friday for sure if we decide to use the savings. If we do not, then you will see me on Friday making like a $20 debt payment. Because like I said, we literally have no more money in our budget except for any side hustle income that we receive this week. So it would be a very, very, very small payment, if anything, on Friday if we decide not to use our savings. So stay tuned for that Friday video, and I will talk to you guys then. Bye, guys.